was the driving force for opening Gracie Owensboro?
Well, honestly, it was just going to be a place for us to train.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. I really had no intention on anything being big, but I had guys, we were training in garages and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So when I was in Florida, my guys here were training, training in the garages or training wherever they could. And so when I got back, it was just like, hey, we were training in garages.
I feel like that's a story that everybody's heard a million times. Like, it's like, where did you, especially when you talk to I feel like my generation, which we're not too far in age, but definitely I feel like I was the first generation where anybody my age and below, we started training in small schools here and there. As soon as you get 5 years older than me and up, everybody was like, we started in a garage, or we started in the grass outside of my yard.
Yeah, I remember that.
We started in a bedroom with some comforters tacked down to the floors just to and so I think that's kind of funny.
We watched, we didn't watch, but we read magazines, techniques magazines.
You had books with diagrams, and you're just how are you supposed to do this?
Now look at it. Everything's there right now.
It's crazy.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, it's amazing what you could find now.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what's his name? It's Henner with the Gracie Online University and stuff like that. I think that's an incredible resource. I've never personally used it or anything like that, but I've heard about it.
I've seen their stuff because I just seeing business wise.
I
investigate, just kind of see what everybody else is doing. I just want to then take what I like from it and try to implement it here.
Right.
So.
Oh, that makes sense. Matt Arroyo just did an interview with a channel called Red Belt, and they were talking about different systems on making successful gyms, payment structures, things like that. Didn't you say you have a gym down in Tampa?
That was the first one before this.
So Matt is down in Tampa, correct? What's that like? I didn't know if you guys had a good relationship or if y'all were kind of competitors.
Well, we were on the same team before we got with Tom and got with the Enzo Racing Network. So we were on the same team and some business things happened. Sure, you know how all that goes.
Oh yes, yeah.
But yeah, we were on the same team. It was cool, man. Matt's always been awesome. He was in the Ultimate Fighter, fought in the UFC.
Right.
He's an entertainer and he knows how to produce.
Right.
And keep everything active. So he's good. He's a good guy for the community.
Yeah, he pops up on my social media quite often when I'm just scrolling around.
He's blew up. It looks like.
Yeah. I think when I was watching that interview, they said he runs $1 million gym. It's he makes
really nice
$100,000 a month basically.
Oh, I can imagine.
I think one of the systems they said that he implemented that not a lot of other schools do, but when I got on their website and started looking at who they were affiliated with, who's using this Red Belt system or whatever,
that's the first thing.
It's an automated system for jiu-jitsu schools where it handles all your payment processing stuff. It handles it keeps up with everything for you essentially. And one thing they talk about is down payments for membership. And the idea is that, let's say right now you charge $100 a month, just hypothetically, right? You could charge $100 a month, or you could charge them $300 for a down payment. But now their membership is $75 a month because they're basically agreeing to a contract right. They can do a 2-year contract with a down payment. And then
they definitely have the business aspect figured out.
Right.
Yeah, they got it figured out. I mean, they do everything. They're business oriented.
Right.
But they also produce a good competitive atmosphere.
Right.
Florida's way bigger. Where we're at, Kentucky, we got to travel 6 hours to do anything really.
Yeah.
But they definitely have the business aspect figured out. They kind of introduced me to that when I was down there, and I was like, oh. That's why I came back and opened up Owensboro. That's why I had a gist of how it was supposed to run. And I didn't know there was any type of business model.
Right.
Just because of, proximity where we're at.
Right, yeah.
And so they definitely haven't figured out.
Yeah, I could definitely tell that he was very business oriented. You've got to have some kind of business savviness if you have, how many gyms do you have?
Well, we only have 2. Gracie Fishhawk, and Gracie Owensboro. Gracie Fishhawk being the first one.
Okay, so this is your second
Yeah,
one?
this is the second one. I'm from here, so it's like my kids. I mean, I spent 2 years away from my family, and it was kind of time to come back.
Right.
So I mean, I started working at the bank, and then just everybody's like, "Hey, just open up." So then we opened up, and kind of took off.
Right.
But we had two other ones down there that we had in the mix. But COVID kind of like ruined those, So, but our main one survived. So.
COVID was hard on my business as well. It was crazy. I've got one of my training partners back home. He's a 4-stripe brown belt, but he's hiking the Appalachian Trail right now.
Yeah.
I've got him on Life 360, so every now and again I pop in and see how far I did that.
Right
now he's halfway through Virginia, and he started down by Atlanta.
That's impressive.
About a month and a half, 2 months ago. So awesome. He's booking it. He sent us a video where there's a pack of wild horses that just like came through the trail.
That's cool.
And all of us were like, did you think about nabbing one? You could have cut your time in half. Yeah. He's like, I did, but there were people behind me. Yeah. What is so I'm in the real estate business, right? So I buy houses, I fix them up, I rent them out, or I sell them, right? That's my main source of income. Mm-hmm. Is this your main source of income?
Yeah, it has been for about 6 years now.
Yeah.
It's been the main source. I mean, I do other things too, like I mow grass. Me, one of my black belts mow grass. And I work from contract work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other companies, stuff like that. But I don't care to work.
Right.
I want to, so I'm trying to get on the fire department.
Hey, there you go. Absolutely. That'd be awesome.
I mean, I enjoy teaching, I enjoy training, but I'm not one of the guys that says, hey, I don't believe in you got to train full time to compete, like at the high level. Whenever I won ADCC trials, I was working full time third.
Right, yeah.
Training like 3 or 4 days a week. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't believe in that shit.
You weren't traveling to like Puerto Rico and
I wasn't going to train.
in.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I had good training. I had Joe Bays
right.
train with. I mean, my brother at the time, he was very good as well. So, I mean, I had good training partners, but I don't believe he had. Joe did what he did. He won the trials, and he was working in the coal mines. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't get into that shit. People that give into that, I'm like, man, that's just an excuse for you not to chase something.
I find that like when I try to go a lot over and over and over and over again and really put in the hours, I do see some improvement, but I find that when I see the most improvement is when I take a week off.
Yeah.
And I let my body recover, and I kind of push it all to the back of my head, kind of clear it out, and come back fresh in the sense that like I'm not just thinking about it constantly over and over and over again, and then I don't find myself fumbling over or getting too caught up in the thought of things. I'm just moving. Yeah. And I find that helps me a lot.
But the thing is, with training, I don't think people understand, like, you're training against people who train with you.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you get better based on your ability to allow them to get better.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, in the plateaus, they're going to happen. Like, there's times where my kids are busy with sports, so I'm not in here as much. I'm teaching, so I'm getting my mental reps, but timing's off. My ego doesn't get hurt because I can't submit somebody as fast as I think I should. It's just part of it.
Right. I feel like the faster you get rid of that, the better you get. 100%. I mean, it's like coming in here. I love doing the no-gi with you guys because predominantly I'm a gi player, but it's awesome now knowing what anybody is because it's just like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, you should respect everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell our guys, I'm like, look, whenever I was a white belt, I was tapping, white belt, blue belt level, I was tapping purples and browns. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, we did leg locks and stuff before. It was like huge.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of an advantage. But, you keep that in mind, though, because I was a white belt that was doing those things. So I'm just like, hey, look, we roll with everybody like they're world class.
Right,
treat them all great. Then what do you have to worry about?
Exactly.
But when you're in the training room, we're on the mat, we're training, trying to get better. Exploit your own weaknesses. Maybe let somebody pass your guard because you don't know how to extend it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever. So,
yeah.
The quality of your training is what matters. Even if we train only an hour.
Right.
Granted, we have open mat afterwards, but we try to make sure everybody is in bad positions and we're getting quality out of that hour.
Right.
Instead of just, okay, me and my black belt roll and nothing happens. I think that's a wasted roll.
Right.
I mean, obviously we do Saturday training and stuff. It's a little bit more competitive. Through the week, we train. We're training. You should be submitting each other. If you're not getting submitted, then you're not training the right way.
I've really enjoyed being here with you guys. I think the energy here is awesome. I think that everybody I rolled with, I could tell there was a deep level of respect for, even like the new guy coming in, I felt like I was treated real well. Definitely had a good sense of culture where nobody came out the gate swinging, and that's always a worry for somebody traveling.
It makes me feel good.
Like if I'm traveling and going to a different gym, I come in, sometimes you come in and they're like, yeah,
I know how
let's get this guy. And then you like get in there and you're like, I don't want to train here because it's not that I can't handle it, but it's just a level of disrespect for somebody coming in.
Somebody new.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
If we want more people to do this, it needs to be more invited.
Right.
I mean, obviously, obviously I know people aren't going to know something when they're coming in. Even if they think they do, who cares?
Right.
But you still need to let them know that, hey, this is a learning environment, but also competitive at the same time. Because, like, in my gym, anyway, it's like, here, we don't push competition, even though that's what we do, because majority of people don't want to compete.
Right.
If we just so happen to have people want to compete, cool, we can do that. But majority of people are not. Like, I believe jiu-jitsu I believe everybody can do it, but you have to be resilient. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what it is kind of forging that resiliency. You have to choose to be that.
Right.
It's not, but you don't have to be a competitor to do that.
No. And I think a big benefit that comes out of jiu-jitsu, whether you compete or not, that applies to the rest of the world and on the mats, is what we call at our gym stress inoculation. Yeah. Just putting yourself in stressful situations over and over and over again. And you get out there in the real world, whether it be your job, your relationships, or anything, something happens and you're not freaking out. You're just, all right, I can handle this. Oh, it's fine.
Tell the kids, man, it's the hardest thing you've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be good, then you're going to be bad.
Yeah.
You're going to be the hammer, then you're going to be the nail.
Yep.
Continuous. That's how it always is. That's how it should be.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how it should be.
But I think there's no bigger stressor than, that life or death. And you're kind of simulating it in a way. Of course, you can tap and get out and, everything's safe. But when you have to deal with somebody trying to choke you or break a limb, hypothetically, every day or twice a week or this, that, or the other, the rest of the world, nobody's trying to choke you. No one's trying to break your limb except for a select few criminals, and you just stay away from them, right? Or you handle them if need be. But I think jiu-jitsu is something that every person could benefit from. I think it'd make the world a better. Absolutely. Yeah, what is it? Israel, they have mandatory military service. I feel like they should just switch PE class. And
make them do jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
Make them do jiu-jitsu.
As far as the gym goes, in real estate, I found that there are a lot of things that people glamorize as far as like, hey, you're going to make a lot of money, you're going to own property, this, that, or the other. People glamorize owning a school. And they're like, I'm going to get to train every day. It's going to be the best job in the world. And while that might not be false, there's always going to be things that once you're in it, once you're doing it, that no one ever told you about, like challenges that come up, stresses that you face, whether it be with your family, otherwise. What are some of the biggest things about owning an academy and running a business? Because that's what it is, that you didn't really know going into that maybe caught you off guard that you had to overcome or anything like that?
Man, honestly, like I had no intention on ever owning a gym. I never intended on that. I kind of got thrown into it, and then like I'm down to do whatever. You know what I mean? So, which I have a business partner in Florida, which he's my black belt now. He runs Gracie Fishhawk. So whenever I first got into it, I was about to move back to Owensboro because I ran out of money.
Right.
And it was like 6 months in. He was like, hey, I got a loan service, So he's like, you can work for me, whatever. So I started working with him, sleeping on his couch, and then one thing led to another. We got an investor, and I was like, hey, I'll teach, I'll help, whatever. So that's kind of like how I started. I never really intended on, I didn't know entrepreneurship was even a thing.
Right.
I mowed grass growing up for my neighbors and stuff like that, but I didn't even know the word entrepreneurship.
Right, yeah.
But
it's not taught in school.
Yeah, no. But
I don't want you to know that.
Yeah, right. But like managing people, in managing people and trying to push out why I do what I do, why we're all in here, that's a hard thing to cultivate that environment. And not trying to be money driven, even because it's business.
Yeah.
And you have to, especially when we started, we were on 500 square feet of mat. This is 3,000 of just mat.
Yeah, it's big. It's big.
So
I know how expensive these are.
Yeah,
it's an investment.
And these are like inch 5/8.
Yeah.
So which are comfy. But we started out on inch mat,
Oh,
puzzle
yeah.
pieces.
All the puzzle
In the
pieces.
storage unit.
I
Yeah,
love the
man, I
puzzle
lived in
pieces.
it.
Yes.
You know, even when I moved here, I used to take showers at the local gym and go back and forth. But I didn't know how to cultivate an environment. You know, it's hard to do that structure every day. Like I'm ADD as crap. You know what I'm saying? So it's like structure. What is that?
Right, yeah. I just want to move. I just want to go.
Yeah, I mean that's a difficult question for me, just because I'm just now getting into structuring things and understanding like why it's necessary.
Right.
For there to be structure for progression. You know what I mean? It's been difficult, but I mean I like it. I don't know if that even answers the question.
No, it definitely gives some insight on it. I think one thing that I think most practitioners experience, even not owning a gym, would be stress on family relationships.
Oh yeah.
Because most of us, even if it's an hour class, it's a 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
So there's 40. And then you're going to stay after and get a few rolls in, or you're going to network with some people. You know, this is therapy for a lot of us. And so we want to connect with our fellow people. And, that's taking time away from your family, up to 4 or 5 hours a day for the average person, or not day, but per week for the average person. And so I imagine for you,
There's
it probably
definitely
takes.
stressors on the family. Thankfully now the gym is able to provide for my whole house.
Right. And that's a beautiful thing.
She worked my fiance works here too, so it's been good. It's been a blessing. I mean, it's been built. You know what I mean? I got guys in place that it can run itself. I don't have to be
right.
You know what I mean? Granted, I'm still here no matter what.
Well, and I think that's the difference between owning a business and owning a job.
Yeah.
And that's what one of my mentors always told me, is that a lot of people say they own a business, but if you have to be there every single day for it to actually move and do anything,
you're not doing it.
You own a job.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that's good to hear that you're doing that, and the fact that you're able to provide for your whole household that way. I mean, that's the goal, right?
And that's why I want to work too, because I want to be able to do that for somebody else too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got private lessons and stuff, which we don't push that. I'm not one of those gyms like, hey, we got to do something. We don't charge for belts. We don't charge for anything. Now, I mean, that might not be business oriented, but I want everybody to come in and earn a skill set. You know what I mean? Like earn it. Like their memberships, they cover everything gets covered.
Right.
But I don't know, man. Like that was one. Like it goes back to your question about the driving factor of opening here is because like I was. It almost brought man into a town of athletes. There's a lot of athletes here. I'm sure every city might say that, whatever. But I know that we have a lot of talent, and I was one of those kids that was, like had goals of going to the NFL, and going D1, playing SEC or something like that. And I got recruited, but it's I didn't have very good luck either, and also there's things I could have did differently. But whenever I was out of college, because I got hurt in college, I broke my ankle, had surgery, and wasn't able to do football anymore, so they dropped my scholarship. So I came back home. We also had a kid at the time, so there's a lot of different variables to consider. But like I was up to doing nothing. Like I wasn't doing it.
Right.
Which kind of goes into how I got into jiu-jitsu. My little brother he quit football, started, doing jiu-jitsu.
So your little brother started first?
Yeah, he's the one he started first.
Okay.
He started training under Joe and everything, and then he wanted to fight. He did all that jazz, and I thought it was stupid.
Under Joe Bays?
Under Joe Bays, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They had it was Nice Guy Submissions where it was.
Okay, yeah.
But underneath the original owners. Like
Right.
You're not business.
Oh, yeah.
But, so he fought professionally and everything, whatever. But I get out of college, come back, and I come home drunk, and me and him get into it. I mean, we were three brothers that grew up, both parents working 12-hour shifts.
Oh yeah,
three boys in the house, so you can only imagine. So, anyways, he has me in a reverse heel hook. I know this now. I know this now.
At the time, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I'm just kicking him in his face, just
right, yeah. The quintessential hard guy.
Yeah, like whatever. Mm-hmm. But anyways, he nothing happened. You know what I mean? He took me down, he closed the distance. I think we had a conversation about this recently. And he was like, yeah, I think that was the first time I ever got to actually use jiu-jitsu in a self-defense kind of scenario. And I didn't know anything at that time. And I still didn't give a shit. He let go, we calmed down, whatever. 2 weeks later, he started showing me things. This is before I started training.
Right.
And he was like showing me a heel hook. You showing me, and I was like, so wait, when we got into it, you like chose not to hurt me, even though I was kicking you in your face. You know?
Yeah.
And, I mean,
It's a humbling
that right
moment.
there, yeah, right there. With that's whenever I was like, okay, I have to try.
Right.
Because my little brother legitimately could have fucked me up and just chose not to.
Right. Just chose to eat the hits.
Yep, just chose not to. Out of respect for
I mean,
me,
that's a show of love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, I know you're going to calm down in a second. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I ended up getting into it. And I started training. I've been training ever since.
That's cool, man. That's really cool, actually.
I've been training. I mean, it's been 14 years, and I mean, I ended up being the one who promoted black belt. So,
I saw the video on that. Yeah, that was cool.
That's pretty cool. So
yeah, no, that's awesome.
It's been eventful.
Well, when I saw the video of you promoting him to black belt, I would have just assumed that you would have started having some success. You know, because I tried to do a little bit of research, but I tried to not really just dig in. You know, but like. Yeah, no, that's interesting. That's a really cool story, actually.
Man. That's 100% the truth.
That's cool, man.
That's 100% the truth. And I mean, I was like 200 something. I mean, I was 230 when I first started training. Cause I was playing football in college at like 185, 190.
Yeah.
And, so I was just kind of, he was fighting professionally at 135 at the time.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? So it's like, look at the size difference.
Right, yeah.
So, and I mean, I don't know. It was definitely enlightening and humbling. So
that's awesome.
Grateful for that moment.
Yeah.
It definitely changed my life because I've been doing it. Like I said, I've been doing it ever since.
No, that's awesome, man. And I'm sure owning a gym and having I'm really stoked that you have a kids class. My current school doesn't have a kids class anymore, but we did, and I was part of one of the original kids classes back 22 years ago, and it is life-changing for me, man. I got bullied relentlessly as a kid. I got beat up, picked on, you know, like 5 or 6 of them at a time.
People got to know to stand up for themselves.
And thankfully, my stepdad, which he's passed now, but he knew the owner, Few Rivers, and got me signed up. And I was there every day for a summer, just really zoned in. And it's awesome because I found these pictures from back in the day. The owner's wife gave them to me to look at. And it's cool because, and I know you've seen it, where you got a bunch of kids and none of them are looking towards you. Yeah. They're just kind of in their own direction. Yeah. But it was cool to like see that even as a little kid, I was just locked in because I had one summer and then I was going back and all my bullies were there and had to make something happen. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu changed my life immensely. I don't know that I would have even been here today if it hadn't been in my life.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I wish more people do it. I mean, man, we have a pretty like in-depth process to get the people in here, like kids, but it's, you know, like I think some like kids that play sports, man, I think the confidence thing, they get it from those sports. Yeah. But I think that they like even those kids need to at least do jiu-jitsu for a little bit and become humble. Oh yeah. You know what I mean? I think like being humble is definitely something that needs to be acquired.
Oh, absolutely.
In all facets.
Absolutely. And if you're a large athletic kid and no one really ever,
I was that guy.
Like,
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not high school, college, but I was that guy growing up. Right? Yeah. I thought I was big and then like it fucking mattered.
Oh, it's funny all the time walking around 5'7", 180 pounds. Yeah. And like you got guys that are 6'5", 280 or something, and they've never trained a day in their life. Yeah. And they'll make jokes like, "You want to fight?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, okay." And it's like, "You want to sign a waiver?" Like, we're good. What do you like to do outside of jiu-jitsu, man? I know that like almost every interview you've ever done has been about jiu-jitsu. What do you like to do? Like you said, you go hunting.
Man, well, it's always been something that I wanted to do. I bought a truck specifically for hunting. Yeah. I've only been once or twice. Right. I mean, man, I'm most of the time with my kids and at home. As far as like, I usually just play with you, man. I'm pretty antisocial when it comes outside of an environment I don't have control of.
I feel you. You know I feel you, yeah.
So.
What do you like to play?
I play Rainbow Six Siege and Escape from Tarkov and World of Warcraft.
Okay, so you get into the MMO world then.
Yeah. I think I got Gladiator last season. But it's terrible. I don't like playing rest stuff. So I hate healing. I mean, some people might frown upon that, but I don't give a shit. Hey, man, that's also why I like jiu-jitsu, because I've been involved in sports, but I've also played video games. And I like the strategic aspect of it. Right. I really just look at it as a strategy game. And it's just both of those in one. It's a video game and working out in one. And I love it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Physically, mentally stimulating. I mean, perfect for somebody who's ADHD. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Some days I don't take my bio bands before I come train because it's just like, let's just see how the organic puzzle plays, you know? And it's great because you're never really locked down in a position for longer than a few minutes at most. And if you are, usually you're like, all right, let's figure this out. I guess it's like if you were in school with ADHD and the teacher was allowed to just pin you to the desk and be like, all right, do your work. Because you signed a waiver. I mean, I guess you're there, right?
I mean, it's a great thing, man.
I'm sure you're sick of answering this question, but everyone back home wanted to know. What's it like being one of the only guys who has film, it's out there, it's published, it's recorded, of the King?
Oh, Gordan.
Yeah.
Man, that was cool. I mean, it was before anything, really, you know? I mean, I think
By
it was on the
anything, what do you
rise.
mean? Talking about the testosterone enhancements? Or?
Well, whatever. You know, no matter what. You know,
Right, yeah.
If anything, people should be mad at me for submitting. Because I remember the day that it happened, when it happened, after you know, I talked to Gordan and everything, he was pissed off, whatever. We were cool, everybody was cool. I know, Gary, everybody's chill, Tom was
Yeah, your match with Gary was pretty cool to watch.
I mean, that was fun. But I told him, I was like, man, you just kind of made a mistake. You know what I mean? But he was still awesome then. I had went against his teammates. Maybe he underestimated me that day, whatever. But now look at what it's turned into.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, because I remember Gary's like, well, thanks for doing that because now everybody's fucked. I'm telling you, that's exactly what he said to me. Yep. And that's what he said to me. And
what did that mean? Like that Gordan's going to just turn it up on everybody?
I suppose maybe he just got way more motivated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe he was on a high horse. And
so are you like responsible for his career then?
Maybe. Nah, but
we're trying to bait him right now. We're going to get this to blow up.
Those are that was Gary's words.
That's amazing.
Tom, everybody was right there. It was cool. I mean, but Gordan's always been cool. I mean,
right, yeah.
He's always been cool to me. I've never even talked about that situation. Everybody tried to blow it up.
No, yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that I think people take Gordan a little too seriously with the online stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like
he's a good dude.
I've never talked to him. I know a lot of people who have. From what I understand, it's a lot of persona and it's a lot of business stuff. Because, I mean, he is one of the highest paid athletes in the world.
Well, here's the thing. If it wasn't for what he did, nothing would be the way it is.
No, absolutely.
Nothing.
Is anybody who doesn't like him or has like a grudge against him for whatever reason?
He's doing his job.
He's doing his job. All publicity is good publicity in that field. And ultimately, he's the reason why other people are getting paid right now. And, it's just like the Daisy Fresh guys. Those guys put jiu-jitsu on a map in a different way, Their documentary was funny. It was entertaining. My wife has no interest in jiu-jitsu, but loves when a new episode comes out because it's entertaining, and
that's what the community needs.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be spectator friendly. People need to watch it. It needs to be entertaining. That's how it goes. Right. Which with that being said, which is why honestly I don't do any of that stuff. Because I don't like any of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, I personally don't. I go out like people always, when are you gonna compete? I never competed. I never just like, hey, I'm just going to compete all the time. I was like, hey, I want to go see how I'm doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, even when I did trials in 2013, it was like, hey, we think you should do trials. So, okay, whatever. And then I won. You know what I mean? And I had been training 3 years. But even whenever I competed in 2015, whenever I beat Gordan, and then I lost in the finals, that was my second. That was like, I maybe competed 2 or 3 times before that.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I only compete. I haven't competed that much.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't competed that much. I just don't compete. I just so happen to have won and have beat some good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Here and there. But again, like I said before, I don't believe in the whole, you got to compete all the time. Yeah, I don't believe in that shit.
Yeah.
Anybody who says that's what you have to do, I don't believe it.
That kind of reminds me of a statement Craig Jones made recently about how he's just one of the luckiest guys in the world because he's not even that good in his own words. But he's very good. But in his own words, he said something to the effect of, he's like, I wasn't even that good. I wasn't really planning on doing anything with it. I showed up to a tournament. I did well. I met the right people. And then I ended up in a circle with Gordan and everybody else. And he was like, I didn't even feel like I deserved to be there because this wasn't my thing. And he kind of expanded on more of like why everything broke up. But I think that's interesting when you meet some guys who've kind of been at the top, because how many guys come into your gym and they're like, I'm going to be the best.
Oh, everybody.
Everybody.
Almost everybody. And they don't last.
And then like 6 months in, they're like, I'm just not going to make it to class tonight. And then you just never see them again.
Nice if they made it.
Right, 6 months. Yeah, I'm giving them a little too much credit.
That's why we don't push competitive jiu-jitsu either. We don't. Because the 1%, those guys, they're going to choose to do it. Right. And they're going to reveal themselves. You know what I mean? Like me, I showed up every day. You know what I mean? I rolled hours after class.
Right.
You know what I mean? We were at home. We bought mats and rolled on mats at home. But those are those guys that are going to do it.
Right, yeah.
So if guys are going to want to excel, we'll try to give a pathway. You know what I mean? But you're still going to have to show up.
Right, yeah.
Nobody's just going to take you there.
Right.
That's not how it goes.
Exactly.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Maybe somebody.
Maybe that's the business model.
But I'm not.
But I'm not, yeah. You have to show up.
So I'm definitely very interested in the 80-20 leg surfing system. Full disclosure, even though I've talked about Craig Jones, Gordan Ryan, Matt, things like that, I'm not really one of those people that just consumes a lot of content.
Yeah.
It's just the ADHD. If I'm going to have content on in the background, I'd rather it be something that I'm into. Yeah. But I'm not, I haven't really ever bought any instructionals. I haven't ever bought anything like that. So when I saw that you had it, I started doing a little research into it. My coach, Eli Knight, when I was talking to him, he talked about Joe, you, and how you guys were doing leg locks pretty much well before anybody else was doing them. So it seems like maybe that was a little bit new territory in the jiu-jitsu game.
Yeah.
Since the release of that till today, have you found any issues out of the 80-20 system, or do you still think that it still works really well? Would you have done anything differently?
Well,
how relevant do you think it is to today's game?
It's definitely
should the viewers buy it?
It's definitely good. I would say yes, but again, I have partners in that. But my leg lock game has changed a lot just because of the evolution of it. And there's, my game's changed entirely.
Sure.
So because whenever we launched that DVD, it was nobody had one. It was kind of right timing.
Yeah.
And it kind of helped perpetuate me out there, put me out there, got me into EBI and just noticed a little bit more.
Yeah.
But as far as relevance, I'd say, it's a good starter one if you want to go for something that was cheaper than everything else out there.
Right. Yeah.
But there's a bunch of free content out there. Yeah.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't do all of it anymore. I don't go to 50-50 anymore. I don't like the odds.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is why we kind of went to the 80-20, but even then you're kind of in trouble. You know what I mean? Like you're still in trouble. So I don't even play that per se 80-20 anymore anyways.
Right.
Things
evolve.
Yeah, so. Everything's evolved. It's been quite some time and I think there's not a lot of double outside finishes anymore. I'm not saying there isn't any, but a lot of that was going to double outside, transitioning double outside or going into 50-50. I don't end up in there anymore because we're focused on now, everybody anyways, is trying to win the inside position and negating that.
Right.
And now you have to be a inversion person who goes in the inside Sankaku position. You have to be a specialist.
Right.
And most people aren't. So I think it's definitely better to just go that route than to just say, okay, cool, I'm being enter double outside and go from there. I think that I would personally, I've changed my game, go with, more efficient techniques.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Entries as well in strategies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
I'm not a salesman. I'm not somebody who's trying to push something, but there's definitely more efficient content.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I don't even teach it anymore.
Well, and that's why I ask, is because I know a lot of the people that I've trained with that are older than me that were kind of really in it, when I was a kid. I know some of them who have bought the system and things like that. And so it's one of those things where, I know they'll be curious to know about that.
Yeah.
I did see one of yours. Oh, it was like 2 a.m. last night, man. It was a video when you were talking about being in that 80-20 area and doing that ankle lock where you go under, one over, and push back on the top of the toes when they're trying to heel hook you or whatever. And today, is that what that is? Yeah, I am so terrible with names. Yeah. I can get to just about any
They call it
position.
the corkscrew. There's so many different names.
That's
You know,
yeah.
Of course, I think Dean Lister has the culture. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, I saw you going over that last night, and I was like, man, my school doesn't play heel hooks very hard. If we do, it's more in the advanced class, and it's most of us just getting around the laptop and figuring it out. But like, I was like, I'm at this school. Everybody keeps going for them. I'm gonna try this, and I had some good success today with like people leaving their toes kind of out there, and I was just like,
It works.
yeah.
I mean, I had did it. If there's a video of me going against Eddie Cummins, now he beat me, so don't take that for anything. But like I had went for it. He went to X guard and or reverse X guard, and I ended up attacking it. You could there's a video out there. You have to find it. But in the background, whenever I do it, there's people they're like covering their eyes, their ears, because his foot was crunching real bad. The referee was like, it's pretty fun. Ooh. But I did do it. I mean, he wasn't going to tap.
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't going to.
Yeah.
I mean, that was good.
I mean, that's the thing, man. So pain compliance is one of those things where it's still compliance. You have to actually comply or just take the pain. And some guys will just take the pain. And that's why I think one of my instructors is real big on if a choke is available, go for the choke, because there is no complying if you're just unconscious. But there's people that will break their arms and just keep going.
Well, and in that particular situation, he was doing a good job of not letting me set my hips, so he wasn't allowing me to get to where I could actually finish the submission.
Sure.
You know, I might have got a pop or two. Like, I'll eat a pop or two in competitive if there's, depends on the level.
Right, yeah.
In training, I'm not going to. But
no, yeah.
You have to be able to finish a submission. You know what I mean? And I think there's a lot of misconception of people that do leg locks. We see it in here. People get to a leg lock like, oh, you need to tap. Well, you need to make it tap. I'm not saying you need to crank the shit out of it, but if you have the skill set to actually finish a heel hook, you don't have to do it fast.
No, yeah.
Because you should have good control of the person with your lace and your finishing mechanics should be good.
Yeah, you should be defending yourself as in the sense that there is no counterattack to you, and you should be able to just hold it.
Yeah.
And if you can just hold it, yeah, you can finish it. Let the guy figure out how to get out of it. Exactly. You don't have to stop him.
Yeah.
You know?
People but it's just like, that's when you know, okay, hey, maybe you're getting some success at something when you get, I'm not saying let it go. Like sometimes I will, it just depends, especially if somebody's lacking knowledge of defense or rolling the wrong way on heel hooks and stuff like that, I'll let go. But if I have something locked up and, I'll slowly start to finish them. Even with arm bars, I'll lock an arm bar out, I'm not going to full throttle it,
right?
But I'm going to slowly start to finish it.
Right.
Because that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's people are still.
I love it. Well, before we get into like the demonstration, do you have any closing remarks as to things that you want people to know about as far as Gracie Owensboro, as far as jiu-jitsu in general? Just for example, one of my coaches at the end of every class, he tells everybody that he truly and genuinely believes that jiu-jitsu would make the world a better place if we can just get more people in it. He's got a whole philosophy on it. If there's anything that you could tell anybody or want to tell anybody, go ahead.
I'm terrible at these things.
I'm very awful at these things, brother. Don't even worry about it.
Terrible at these things.
And I think we've had a really great conversation, by the way. I think that there's not going to be a whole lot of
I always worry that whether I actually answered the question or not.
No, I feel like
every time I'm like, did I actually
I think that the questions are just there.
Yeah.
I am more interested in the organic, what comes after.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I'm just more interested in the conversation because I think that everybody is interesting in their own ways. I think that you have a good history. I think that your story about your brother was awesome. I think that a lot of people want to know what you've been up to. I mentioned your name in my school, and a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, really?"
Man, I get random messages on Facebook and stuff, and people asking me, "When you gonna compete? When you do this?" Man, I actually competed all the time.
Right? Yeah.
But
you made waves, so
yeah, that's all.
There's always gonna be ripples.
I choose to invest in my community now. It's really
yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have any kind of seminars or anything coming up, or any kind of?
I got burnt out on that shit. Man.
Yeah.
I don't like doing them. I mean, I'll do them, but
right.
I don't like doing them. I don't really want to be away from my family. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like at all, ever. 2 days is way too long.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids are in high school and almost middle school. I'd rather not. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's cool to go travel, whatever, but I don't mind. I'll just show up to somebody's gym and train.
Yeah,
You know what
no,
I mean?
absolutely,
I don't
absolutely.
care too much about it.
Are there any gyms that you recommend that are kind of in the surrounding 6-hour radius or whatever?
Man, honestly, I only train here.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to Florida and I train. But man, I've just been so busy with real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people ask, but like I've been focused on this, my family, that's where I'm at, just trying to be a better dad, better father, better, you know what I mean?
I feel you. I think that's where most guys are, and I think that's probably why a lot of us get into jiu-jitsu. So
Yeah.
regardless of what the stress on the family causes, I think that ultimately it's a net positive.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. So we'll just get into the demonstration stuff.
Cool.
Good friend of mine, Todd Ballard. He's a brown belt at my school. Todd's gonna kill me, but I'm pretty sure he told me he was 60 years old.
Oh yeah.
I have it on video. I'll have to review it, but I'm pretty sure he told me he was 60 years old whenever I was talking to him last week. He's a brown belt, built like an ox, dude. He's got no, for real. Like
I believe it. There's some tanks out there.
oh yeah, and he's awesome, man. Like he doesn't come to class a whole lot, but when he does, it's always a good time.
Yeah.
If you let him get an underhook,
Make you pay.
yeah, he's gonna get you. But he's got good energy, man. I love him. One thing that he really wanted to ask you was, what do you think is the best way to deal with neon belly as far as escaping from it, or basically dealing with it in general?
Yeah.
And I'll put this laptop right here.
Yeah. My advice always to my students are, don't get your guard pass.
Yeah, no, that's always mine. Is like, hey, if you don't like that position, don't get in it.
Yeah, don't get in it.
But ultimately, you do end up there. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's gonna happen.
Especially with him being 60,
Yeah.
you get a guy who's 20, super athletic.
Now, is this gi or no gi?
So
Specific? Because I mean, I do the same thing gi. I know it's just a little different,
right.
especially with grips.
Well, I think that he does a lot of gi. He does a lot of gi, but every Wednesday we switch back and forth.
Yeah.
We'll do like this week we're going to be doing gi.
Yeah.
And next week we'll be doing no gi.
Yeah. Well, just go neon belly. So, like, and I'll kind of talk about it. So, like, this is an old school Henzo Gracie kind of thing. But so what I do is I just put this knee behind him. I'm not the big fan of putting your hand on, like you're exposing the staple arm bar on the far side.
Yep.
I don't do this, right? So I'm just gonna make him put his hands on the mat above me. This is just like a one-legged bridge. I'm gonna drive my knee into you, right? And then I'm gonna look to get a grip on your leg. So I'm gonna bridge and bump over. Right now I just make sure that we supine heights here up to our knee, and then we can get behind it, right? If you had a lapel. Right. If you had a lapel, you grab a lapel, you can grab a sleeve, right? And also, even if they did the back step, right? Say you did a long back step, I mean, we're out of the situation anyway.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's probably one of the number one things that I execute usually when someone's kneeling belly.
Okay.
Just to get them to base.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you can... So just to get them to base, obviously, so we're here. And if you have to accept the knee on belly, like, because right here in D, we can just open.
Right, go into like a worm guard
You could be
situation
here.
or something.
Yeah. So it's just a nice post close to your bottom, right, or your butt, and then we're bridging, and we're going to our right shoulder. So I'm not going to bridge and go with my back.
Right.
So we're just going to be here. See how you have to off balance? You might reach back a wizard or put this knee on the mat.
Right.
But we come up into a single leg situation. Right. So this is where we're at. We're kind of essentially in a scramble.
Right.
Also, you know what I mean? And you can always bail out. But the main thing is I can get the reversal from there.
Okay.
So I just try to off balance people and get that scramble going.
Okay.
That's a fairly easy one. It's
For sure. So in gi, you would probably grab a lapel or something and try to use
if I can
that
grab the
threaded-
sleeve, I'll grab his sleeve.
Like far side sleeve?
Yeah, far side sleeve. Because then he can't post out.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
so
almost
exactly.
like a sweep almost.
Yep. Or if he's like popping those grips pretty good, you can go lapel. And you got it fairly easy.
Gotcha. Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's cool. Henzo Gracie.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think that oftentimes when I'm on bottom, and the guys back home will laugh about this. And I think you caught me actually doing it the other last week. I'm really big on slicers.
Yeah.
Like that's my
So you're
thing.
going for a couple of them.
Yeah, like I'll go for like no-gi, like lassos
Yeah.
and stuff. Just
It's bicep slicers.
it's just It works really well for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the short legs or something, but
If you like them, keep doing. That's what I would say.
I love it.
And figure out how to make it work.
Yeah. Like I'll almost start them out. Like if we're starting from knees or whatever, I'll let you have one leg on the inside.
Yeah.
And just start lacing it up just as a point of control. Cool. Well, we'll definitely be working that one. I
mean, that's a good one. I mean, like, because I watch a lot of content. I mean, obviously, I watch John Tanner stuff, Tom DeBlass stuff,
right?
Because they're within the family, and then obviously Gordan's. But like John Tanner says, like if he had to like put it into steps, what we should do in jiu-jitsu is you establish the connection first, off balance, and then you execute, right? So that's one of those situations where I feel like, okay, he's knee on belly, what's my connection going to be? Whether the sleeve, then off balance, and now we can execute our supine heights, whatever the case is to get out. So, I mean, that's essentially what I try to think about and tell my students to do when we're rolling. If you don't know how to do a certain technique, how can I off balance this person?
Right.
What's my connection to him?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then try to execute from there.
Okay. Another brown belt at our school, most of us call him a sandbagger. He'll tell you that he's a blue belt. He's awesome. He's the one hiking the Appalachian Trail right now. His name's Alex. Man, I miss him. He is like one of the lifebloods of the school, man. He's amazing. Alex really wanted to know, he's been on a crucifix kick for, I don't know, the better part of a year. And something him and I do is we'll just have a singular thing that we're looking for.
Yeah.
We'll play the game, but then that's what we're looking for, and we'll find it somewhere. Me, I'm looking for different slicers I'm working on. Him, he's always looking for back-mounted crucifixes and things like that.
Okay.
Is that something that you ever work with? Or
that
you have an unorthodox way to get into one, or something that...
I have some failed attempts, failed traps on them, because I have short, stocky legs, so things are going to happen. Like, I'm on the back trying to trap arms, and I end up in the crucifix, and I'm okay with that. Sure. Which happens a lot. When else do I end up in the crucifix? I don't do too many crazy injuries, just because, I have a lot of injuries, a lot of herniations, and try to stay away from those things. But on the back, let's just say, I think this happened to me and you today. Like, we're on the back.
Yep.
And just say we're going for, straight jacket, essentially, and we get to the trap.
Yep.
See how I can't connect my legs?
Right.
And then you might even peel that arm over. And leg up.
Right, yeah.
And then pass. And this is a situation where we end up in the crucifix.
Right, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So this is kind of what happens to me a lot. Now, I don't know the finishes he might do here.
Oh, yeah, he's wicked with them.
Yeah. So, I mean, he could do whatever he would do. There. But that's typically how I end up there. I mean, I also do it from turtle. I'm a big fan of turtle.
Oh, yeah, he does it from turtle all the time.
So I'll get into attacking the neck where they grab with his hand, right? So so this far side arm, I'm going to push it down.
Yep.
Just so you have to engage this hand to attack that neck. And then, obviously, I'm here attacking, you're going to be pulling, and then I shoot the hand back, and then there's going to be a trap for us, right?
Oh, okay. So you trap with the outside leg.
Yeah, but this is because I'm trying to go into a back take with your arm trapped between you and the mat.
Right.
Okay? So then I can go back to my seatbelt here, and then we can fall, and then I open, right? But a lot of times what happens is knee to elbow, and then they bridge to the other side, right? So he starts bridging and pushing me over, and then here we're back in to a crucifix. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, these are weird scrambles, just failed attempts because, all the good guys, I don't know. I'm just trying not to suck. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely working on other things. So if they're failed back attempts, a lot of times they end up in the crucifix position anyways. So,
well, I found that I was almost going to it from what we were doing today with the. I assume it's just more of a truck entry that we were doing today. Whenever we were just run through it, right?
Yep.
So here, come here, push through. I get it locked up. Come over, and I would start here, I'm going to come to the back.
Yeah.
Put a hand on the
You
head.
go straight into it. Yeah.
And go there, almost.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing about scrambles.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where you're going to end up. And everybody responds a little different, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, hey, that's cool.
Yeah. But I liked working over that truck entry. We haven't really done a whole lot of that. Like I said, we're more of just the traditional styles, like the we pull a lot from like Hickson and things like that. And it works. It works good.
I mean, all
It's
the
just
techniques
different.
just depends on what your goal is. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like if we're doing self-defense shit, you know, and we don't need too much of jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
what's out there, we don't need too much of it. Do we need
Right,
to know how
yeah.
to do the truck? No.
No.
You know what I mean? We don't need half of it. We don't need 90% of what we're doing.
If you go into a physical altercation with a crackhead and your main goal is to get into the truck
Bare
and
minimum.
yeah, like that was very inefficient.
Yeah, way too much work
Yeah.
for no reason.
You've turned it into a training session.
Yeah.
So, and that's the big difference. And I think that a lot of people get soured on some self-defense stuff sometimes when they train at a school like that.
Yeah.
Because that's not the stuff that's on the internet.
Yeah.
The stuff that's on the internet is
It's the
your
flashy
stuff.
stuff.
And that's cool and it's awesome. And when you hit it, you're like, yeah. But like at the same time, like that's not what it was started for.
Mhm.
You know, that's not where the origins of jiu-jitsu came from. And, you know, ultimately, unless you're going to own a gym or you're going to compete, things like that, you probably do need to know just some self-defense stuff as well,
sure.
you know.
Exactly.
And so I think that there is that delineation there because sometimes people will go into a self-defense school and they'll be like, oh, this is like a McDojo.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just different.
It's different,
just
yeah.
different, you know. And
People are there for different reasons.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
It's not competitive jiu-jitsu oriented. You know,
Right.
we have a lot of people who are competition oriented as far as the community, and the people that say, "Hey, we want to do competition," a lot of them end up wanting to do MMA because jiu-jitsu is associated.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now it's like MMA is the new martial art.
Right.
You know, so
Well, and to be honest with you, you know, a lot of the MMA guys, I feel like they benefit a lot from the self-defense style jiu-jitsu a lot because you're dealing with a guy who's full contact, punching you, kicking you while you're on the ground, elbows, this, that, or the other. You know, you're probably not going to get into what we call like a 1.5 position, like a punch block series on the ground when you're in a training environment. You know, you and your friends are probably just trying to go for stuff, but it is good to know. And I think that oftentimes it gets kind of pushed to the side. But I will also say that, like, I think it's like you said, you get you get out of something what you put in. And I came here a couple weeks ago. Everybody's been great. I was a little worried whether or not I would be able to hang with some of the purple belts, or you know, if I was going to be mixed matched as far as rank goes. And I do feel like I was doing fine. I'd definitely be interested in your opinion on our roles. I know we were both going very easy and things like that, but
you're in here training. That's what, man, people are. I mean, I feel the same way. I'm like, well, how am I doing? I'll ask my, how'd I feel?
And then you
I do the same thing.
You feel fine.
Yeah. Hey, if you're in here training, you feel good.
Right,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying now, it's like, are you still making the same mistakes? I don't know. It's up to you.
Well, it was really cool because right now I'm developing my own little system surrounding compression locks and setups and things like that for them.
As you should be at,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
And so it is cool to come in here and like test them out because the last couple of weeks I've been in here, that's pretty much all I've been going for. I mean, if you feel me hooking and behind the knee, that's all I'm doing is just trying to set things up. Yeah. One of the guys, I can't remember his name, but he's a brown belt here, and he was like behind me, and I kind of had him in this weird, stupid half guard, and I pulled my leg back in and got behind his knee and started turning in. And he looked at me and goes, "I feel you doing some sneaky shit." And I was like, "Yeah." Do you mess around with slicers or compression locks or anything like that much?
I used to, but more so bicep slicers.
Yeah.
I mean, I do the lasso. I do a lot of lasso stuff, but I stopped doing it on bottom just because my calves are kind of too big.
Sure.
That I run into some issues. Beefy. Yeah. But I do so in the heat especially. So I do go down on the bottom side. So if I am on knee on belly.
Yep.
And I got a staple, whatever. I mean, I'll be working this over top of the bicep and then I'll swap it and then I'll let you put your hand in.
Oh,
You see what
yeah.
I'm saying? And then we can go here.
Right.
Right now we can start to work this. And
Right.
obviously,
You got that top
You can
finish
start
there.
to feel it, yeah.
Right.
And so a lot of times I use it as a pin, but it just depends on what he's doing defensively.
Defensively,
So if
yeah.
he's not letting me get a lapel, right, I'll just be here, pin his arm, and I might be playing where my hand positioning is. And then if I can't get anything, just say he's just being stubborn or he's a good defense, I'll swap. Right, and then I'll back step and then we're here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then we can start working about slice
Right.
in this top position.
No,
And that's typically what I do whenever I do mess with bicep sausage.
well, and I feel like that position there would not benefit me rolling with you.
Yeah.
Being on bottom there, because I oftentimes know that that's there against me, but I'll use it for a sweep if I'm quick enough, because I'll get guys on knee on belly, and before they think to thread it back, I'll reach through and use it to straighten out and apply like a good amount of torque on the leg. So that way they can't push their hips forward because it's extended out too far. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, no, that's a good one, but I've never really thought about just setting it up.
Yeah.
I usually end up there.
I typically try to set up everything.
Right,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, I like playing that game.
Right.
You know,
Well,
everything.
I usually end up there from like a sweep or something. But that makes sense, because I'll oftentimes like kind of windshield wiper over something just to keep it pinned or something, and using that.
I'll do a half guard lasso sweep too.
Yeah.
So we'll be here half if he decides to go underneath. So surprisingly, this is a really strong grip.
Yeah.
So if I'm here and then he starts to pass, right? So I'll open up and then we can start to come up.
Oh, yeah.
And we come up into this situation where I can start working my legs.
Right.
And now we got the top side leg with the bicep slice.
Well, and that's actually a pretty cool crucifix you're in right now too.
Yeah. So I mean, I do a little bit of it. But I try not to bicep slice for people.
Yeah.
Because you can't necessarily be nice. It's like wrist locks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
9 times out of 10, I'll get there, and as long as I got there and I know I was there,
yeah.
I just let them move out of it, and we kind of keep going.
Yeah.
I definitely work. One thing that I'm really interested in is turning back positions into good positions, and not necessarily always through just transitioning up or anything like that. Bottom side control is slowly turning into actually one of my favorite positions to be in, just because I feel like there's a lot of area to make attacks, and then I feel like
There's opportunity.
you have infinite base, right? Because you're on your back.
Yeah.
So you don't ever have to worry about getting turned over or anything like that, unless they're going to go into some kind of twisting arm control or anything like that. But I am curious to know about your opinion on something. So a lot of times I'll be in this bottom side control, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I'll be playing this, and obviously this is just like you can go to the lasso, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can turn that in to a sweep stuff.
Yeah.
Set that up. A lot of times it's a lot harder to go from the outside and to move that in to the bottom, and they see it, right? You just opened up. So a lot of times I'll be playing this game, and they'll force against me, and I'll keep it held. My short little legs thread in super easy right there. And I keep that frame. I never lose my frame, so I'm keeping some distance.
Yeah.
And I'll get it in there, and I can lock it up that way. And oftentimes finish from underneath.
Yeah. I mean, it seems clean.
But if they don't, like if they're a big dude and they can like muscle their way out of it, it at least gives me like, because most people will end up going for like that Von Flu or the paper cutter choke from there. But once I'm here, or even grabbing my own foot in there,
It's definitely uncomfortable.
yeah, this is all free now though.
Yeah.
So I can pass over
Yeah, start to
and
work.
start looking into like an arm saddle.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say we get squared back up, right?
Definitely a nice little scramble. But
I'm back into it.
Back into it. Like. Yeah. I
And then you can start transitioning.
if you're running it, man, yeah,
Back into that.
Realist.
Yeah.
I mean, if it works for you, I'd say you keep doing it.
And now in the key, it's super easy because you've always got that there. This, you almost have to get that 2-on-1 until you get it locked in. The only way to finish this from the bottom side, though, is you have to get that far
Yeah, you
side
gotta
shoulder.
get through.
If you don't, it's pretty much just a control point. And one thing my teacher Eli showed us was that arm saddle. And I'll threaten that slicer there
Yeah.
until they pull out. And then immediately locked into here. And you've got that straight arm there.
Yeah.
You can turn it into omoplata.
Yeah.
You can actually come all the way up.
So belly down and work.
Turn it into
Triangles.
and shit. And I feel like
I like going for the Udi. The straight arm lock is what I like.
Yeah.
From that position.
The
There's a
triangles,
lot you can do there.
the triangles don't do a whole lot for me with my short ass legs.
Yeah, me neither.
And then just the other thing I wanted to kind of show you that I was working on to get your opinion on. Again, it's a bottom side thing. So a lot of times, work your classic getting back in front kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I'll almost everybody will end up in half guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most people want to end up in mount as far as being on top. So a lot of times I'll thread this through.
Yeah.
And they'll almost let me a lot of times. And I'll end up kind of in that deep position.
Yeah.
I find that this here, just being here alone, and I want you to tell me if I'm wrong, provides like a super excellent point of control.
No, I end up here a lot. This is a little bit different, but I end up here a lot as far as depth, as far as your scoop grip there.
Like if I don't feel like I've got good control, I'll hold this.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I can use that to turn that into a sweep.
Yeah.
But one thing you and Eli both have videos on, which I think is hilarious, because I sent him yours and he goes, "Oh, I'm going to incorporate that into mine." Is you guys were doing entries into like honey hole from like a reverse X situation, and I've started basically incorporating this X everywhere. But with my short little legs, it's hard for me to get up high on the thigh and tip them over to catch them into that situation. I can't remember what it's called. But I use this grip a lot. One, just to establish control, because if they pull out whatever, I've always got a hook somewhere. Yeah. But what I really like is when I lift up to straighten that leg and pull it through.
It guides it back to you for the capsize.
Right. And a lot of times they don't like it, so they'll try whatever, but a lot of times I can turn it, and watch your fingers, I don't hurt you.
There you go.
I can turn it
into a sweep.
Here. And I'll pass that one over and finish from up top. And if bare minimum, I can let it go. And now you're on the back.
Yeah.
Right? But it also sets you up kind of to where you can start getting into these weird positions where I just noticed that there's a lot of places where you have like work with your own legs to their legs.
Yeah.
Without really compromising yourself too much. I mean, you do get compromised, but
but you're not in trouble right now.
Right. I mean, definitely you can get to my back.
Yeah.
But I've got this in here to kind of create some distance.
Yeah.
And then you kind of come in there and start twisting things, but that's something I'm kind of working on, figuring out and kind of ironing out. Do you have any comments or concerns on that as far as like things that you think might come about as far as negatives that I need to look out for? With you being a higher skill level than me, I know that like sometimes somebody will show me something, I'm like, well, this is there and you're not really seeing it.
My advice is always going to be, if you're having, start on the white belts,
move
to the blue belts, just work your way up, and then the Hubbard belts will kind of exploit, some things and it kind of show you different avenues, but never, fuck what I say. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's why I wanted to ask you, because
if you can make them move and make them respond and they're in an advantageous position, why not?
Yeah.
Because if that's the connection that, you're getting them. Now you're essentially off balance them because they're going to respond to that.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's strategically speaking. I mean, that's just a development of your game.
Yeah.
And if you make somebody have to respect every position, it's just keep doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I definitely, because whenever I'm rolling, I feel people out. Like, we're training. I'm trying to see what I could do to help them improve. I mean, when we rolled, I definitely felt where, okay, hey, I had to respect this. You know what I mean? Like, at least respect it or address it.
Right, yeah.
Which makes me go on the defensive, which is constantly what's happening, because we're going back and forward, back offense, defense. And obviously, who's on the offense more.
Right, yeah.
Win. But my advice is just keep doing it.
Right. Being a small guy, I oftentimes would get cradled.
Yeah.
And so, I was getting so tired of being cradled that eventually I just realized, oh, my leg's in there.
Yeah.
Fuck their arm up.
Yeah.
But, cool. No,
my advice definitely would be to attack the straight arm lock a little bit more.
Attack the straight arm lock.
If you know they're respecting this and they're grabbing your head,
Right.
just attack that straight arm lock. I don't know if so. Whenever I do attack a straight arm, let's just say I had it here, right, and then I got into it and I got into this situation. Attack it from here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like instead of going into like the shoulder, like the saddle.
Yeah.
Right. Why not just finish? You see?
Yeah.
And we could even get away. And now this is even more stronger for Ludicotomic.
Yeah. Right.
So, right, I mean, you can feel.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'd say honestly look for that a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, especially if you're getting that response, because like me, I'm gonna grab your head.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then like whenever I do grab your head, like I notice you didn't even attack that arm, but you look to. You know, go to a lasso or the saddle on my shoulder.
Right, yeah.
But you didn't attack the Udi, which is right there.
Right.
You know, which you're going to get a strong response out of that. You're going to. Because you have to kind of throttle the straight arm.
Right.
You know what I mean? To make anybody respect it. You know?
I think a lot of times in those instances, I'm more focused on maintaining the shoulder crunch and not losing it.
Yeah.
Because once I lose it, now I have to regain it.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I do need to start looking more for that straight arm lock there.
Yeah.
It's definitely there.
Finishing mechanics is probably more so what you need to work on.
Cool.
If you're having issues with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, to me, because my elbow has a little bit more mobility, I'm not, I feel like I'm going to be able to escape. But if you threaten the Udi, right, because you're right here in the middle.
Right.
That's going to be a problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially if you know the finishing mechanics to it, like it's going to be a big problem. Because now I'm basing on the other hand to protect this arm that you're attacking with your whole body. You see what I'm saying? So I would say definitely look into attacking that off of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they don't grab your head, then you're probably going to be able to bicep slice.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say keep it.
So just so that I can mostly look at this for myself later.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, that's the thing is I like that inside there.
Yeah.
That because it just leaves us free. But so you're saying when you're here.
So don't go to that shoulder, right? Because the reason why I say that too, you want to turn and sweep that shoulder. Yeah. So whenever you're here, if I can get this elbow deep, okay, you got my shoulder, but you're doing is to address the shoulder or grab my bicep out.
Right.
And now you let go of my shoulder. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So, but if you make me fully commit to defending the Udi, which is elbow deep on the elbow, so your right elbow go a little bit further with this. So reach there.
Oh, so real far over
on the elbow, right?
I see.
And you can even hug your own. Yeah. And now you're gonna after this comes out, your knee goes under my armpit, and your other knee, this one goes by my jaw.
Right.
So it
So
goes
that
here.
comes out.
I'll put this here. Now, yeah, see, you see where I'm at?
Yeah.
And now you're getting on your side. See, you're below my elbow. I want you to go right on the elbow. Be careful. So you're here.
Yep.
Now get on your side this way. Now throw your leg across my back. And now we can start driving that elbow down into our chest. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So like just to work on your finishing mechanics,
Yeah.
you could just go up to your knees. It's fine. So we're here. So like this, right? And this is where people mess up. They try to see I'm just going down my forearm.
Right.
It's elbow.
Oh yeah.
It's really
It's almost like a dragging.
Yeah, really strong. So watch this. Also, here's where people mess up. Is are we in the shot?
Sorry, this is more for me anyway.
No, it's good. No. So like we're here.
Yep.
You got to keep the face not getting close to you. This is why this knee has to go by the jaw. So it has to go here.
Right. It's got a
Right, and then I scoop my hips away. See how close my hips are to your arm? So here, elbow deep.
Mm-hmm.
And I scoop my hips away. See this?
Oh, yeah.
And now, see how much?
That was definitely added more.
Hey, look at this. Here,
Yeah. Nothing.
hips, and I drive into this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Way more finishing.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
And that might end up getting into, that just might elaborate on what you want.
Yeah. No, that's awesome because I'm always trying to find the next attack in the shortest distance while still maintaining good position, of course, right?
The straight arm is perfect.
That's awesome.
That's a shitty one to get caught.
That's awesome. Because at this point now, everybody in my gym is getting sick of the slicer.
Yeah.
And they're like, stop cradling him, stop. They're like,
Hopefully they're like, hey, stop grabbing his head.
yeah, right.
You know, like.
And that is something that they like to do to me. So that makes a lot more sense. And I think usually I just took that as a good thing that they were closer to me,
Mm-hmm.
like posture and everything was broke down. And then I guess I was too willing to go into that arm saddle. It's still there, but you're right. That is there before.
Yeah. It's it's better for you to make them worry about two things as opposed to one.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So if they're just worried about one, then that's going to be easy to defend. But now I got to choose.
Right.
Then the UDI is going to be something they have to address immediately.
No,
You
that's
know what I
awesome.
mean? But
Yeah.
but then you can go back and forth. You know, but that UDI Gatami is going to be super tight.
Nice.
I mean, I get a lot of finishes. From
Yeah.
that. A lot of finishes personally.
Yeah.
So especially like an open guard, somebody grabs my head.
Right. Yeah.
I usually hit that a lot.
Nice. That is definitely.
That would be my
going in there.
take on it.
Yeah. No, that's definitely going in there. That's awesome. No, I like that a lot. Well, Josh, thank you very much, brother. I really respect your time, and I appreciate you making time for somebody that kind of just walked in off the street. And
No problem.
yeah, you got a really great facility here, man. You got a lot of really cool guys, and I can't wait to bring everybody from Three Rivers up here. And
Some come in.
yeah, no, we will, man. And you guys should come down there next time Eli's doing like a seminar or something. You've got a lot of students here that actually know about Paducah pretty well, and one of them actually told me today he had trained at Three Rivers way back in the day when he was a kid. I think his name was
Justin Hunter.
Hudson. He sent me a friend request. It's in there. I told him to do it because I was gonna forget his name.
Yeah.
But a lot of your students apparently were big fans of Eli and were asking me a lot of questions about him. And I'm gonna text you guys whenever he's coming to town, and y'all should make a trip, man. It'd be a good time.
Sure.
I know Eli's a fan, so he'd be excited to see you anyways.
Likewise.
So, man, cool. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate you.
Let's get back to our families.
Yeah.